Yeah.
What's
That's
that?
our picks recap.
Oh, so things didn't go well.
We took a beating this weekend.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it at the end of the show, of course, but it was not a good weekend for SEC home teams that you could bet on. Now, I have looked into the future, and it gets better, but this weekend was this weekend and last weekend was the two landmines, and we dodged it last weekend. We did not dodge it. And I've got a statement that I never thought that I would make in my life, but I'll save it for the end.
Okay. That's a good.
And I'll make it then. Yeah.
That's a good teaser. There's one game in particular that I'm really disappointed in, and I had an upset. I was just ready to gloat, and I'll be damned if they couldn't choke themselves away. But we'll get to that. So this is Hell If We Know podcast. That is Chris. I am Brian. We are here to talk about college football, and that would be college football review from week number 9. I guess it would be. Week 9. All right. Well, the season is way more than half over at this point. We're at November, basically, in a few days. Some good games coming up, but we'll review the ones we just had from
Should
week
we
9.
should we talk about Brian Kelly first?
We should probably, let's start with that. One notable, to go back a minute, Chris and I discussed in the last show the sheer number of openings of high major colleges, and even some of the group of 5 as well. But we added one big one, which no one's terribly surprised about, especially after they took a beating, is the LSU, and said, that's enough, Brian Kelly, you phony loser. You're out. Which concludes the most unlikely marriage of coach and school, perhaps in history of college football or college sports, maybe. This was destined to be a disaster from the time he made that first video doing like whatever this was with the recruit.
Cringe AF, man.
Oh my God, that was bad. And the talking about his LSU family at the mid-court of the basketball game, that first introduction. So, yeah, no one's surprised that this is happening. You, me, anyone else that's watched college football the last 4 or 5 years. I guess he had got 4 years, not quite 4 years.
Yeah. 3
This
years
had to
and like
happen,
2/3.
Yeah, this had to happen, right? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, you know this conference better than I do, but as a college football fan, like, this is just so odd, this marriage, and it had to come to an end, and boy, did it ever. And I haven't heard the latest on what they did negotiate on the buyout, but I gather whatever it was worth it.
Brian Kelly's going to be A-okay.
Yeah.
That was from the very jump. Everyone knew this was, we talked about even on this show, square peg round hole.
Mm-hmm.
And it certainly was. And it'll be interesting to see what he does from here, because just like James Franklin, he's already, I'm sure he wants to get back into coaching.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm sure he'll be retread somewhere that's either on this list already or going to be on this list by the time we're done making the list. One of the two, him and James Franklin will. Which I don't get that, because and maybe that's just the coach and competitor in them that makes them want to get back out there and redeem themselves. Because if I was drawing like James Franklin $600,000 a month, you couldn't melt me and pour me out on a football field.
Exactly.
After that,
I tell you, I'd be at games, but I'd be sitting in the skybox eating brats and drinking beer and watching. Yeah, watching
that's
the
right.
games.
I'd be pulling Jason Kelsey's. I'd be getting out the window, throwing kids back in the press box during the Super Bowls and stuff.
Just go whatever the top game is the weekend. That's where I'm going to be, at the most expensive seat I can get. And then next week I'll go to another game. This is like the to live out your dream as a college football fan. If you're nothing else,
go to be a creeper at every game day. Go to every location and just kind of be creeping back there like my boy Hannibal here.
That's
which,
right.
By the way, we only have him for a couple more shows now.
Yeah.
So soak it in, people. But yeah, I mean That's what I would be doing. I'd be living my best life.
Absolutely.
I would not be worried about recruiting and NIL and building a staff and game planning and all that BS that goes into it. I just would be out there living life. Have a podcast. Through the week. I'd be really good at golf.
Oh, really?
Really damn good at golf.
Seriously.
I drive some badass automobiles. I mean,
Yes,
life would be
plural.
good for
Yeah,
Chris.
right,
Yes.
right.
And this guy's already talking about how he wants to get, I bet Brian Kelly's too. I bet Brian Kelly has a head coaching job next year somewhere.
Absolutely right. And he's a guy.
Virginia Tech takes him in a second, right?
Certain.
Feeds
Why
it
wouldn't they?
Arkansas,
So
UCLA.
2 for 2, 3 for 3.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you? But the thing with Kelly, the difference in Franklin is that Kelly's almost 65 years old, whereas Franklin's like 53 or 54. So there's a pretty big gap in their ages. Like, especially Kelly, like, you don't have to coach till you're 70. It's not required. You know, this is not, Social Security is not going to make you work until you don't have to worry about drawing money. So just hang it up, man. You had a good run. You're not going to win a title at UCLA likely, or anywhere else that
Anyone that's
has
going to
enough
hire
money.
you, you're not going to win a title.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Not in the next year, 2, 3, whatever. You're going to have to rebuild that trust of sorts, and then by then you're already looking at 70 in 3 or 4 years. So I don't know. Like, I'm with you. Just you had a good run. You're not likable either, by the way. That's not changing. No, whether you at Cincinnati or the small Michigan school or Notre Dame or LSU, you're just not really likable. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, honestly. Like, he's not.
Well, he's a prick, is what he is.
He's just not charming at all. Like, I don't know why you go play for him. Honestly, like, that would not be enjoyable. Plus, he killed a kid on the scissor lift. That was
don't forget about. And LSU, there's no excuse to fail at LSU.
No,
none.
Absolutely not.
You have everything you need to win titles, multiple titles.
Right.
Everything is there. Recruiting, money, fans, everything is there to win. And he just.
Hell, Ed Orgeron won a title.
Yes.
Jeez. Yep. Orgeron, Les Miles, Nick Saban, the 3 predecessors to Brian Kelly, all won titles. And so he failed at even making the damn playoffs, let alone getting a title.
He would have never won a title there either. You could have given him 20 years there. He never would have won it. He would be this coach the whole time, sitting around 8-4, 9-3,
right.
10-2, maybe some years. And that's what Brian Kelly would always been at LSU.
He lucked into Jaden Daniels, 2 or 3 years ago. And that's like we had a little thing about which coach was made by the player kind of thing. And, that was the closest. Right. I mean, he might have been unemployed a lot sooner if Heisman Trophy player or winner wasn't on his roster at the time. He's going to have most of the time guys like Nussmeier. That's a nice college quarterback. He's not going to be amazing. He's going to be a nice quarterback. And then also to lose Bryce Underwood to Michigan didn't help either for his long term. Yeah, that stings too because they got outbid by that and whatever too.
And he was always going to be what he is at LSU, and they never played complimentary football. Whenever Jaden Daniels were there, they were elite on offense, and they couldn't stop anyone.
No,
they couldn't stop a soul on defense. Now they field a good defense, and they can't get their act together on offense. So it's kind of it's weird. They never put 2 and 2 together to have a good team, good enough to go try to win a title or even be in the playoff.
Yeah, and you're right. That it would never got there. He wouldn't even lucked into it because, you got other teams that are coming on. Indiana, they're going to beat Indiana in the playoffs, or obviously, they can't get past, Bama and the teams within a few hundred miles of their own campus. So, they're just, I guess, good for them. Like, what you talk about the worst time to fire a coach and trying to start bidding war for someone else. So, welcome to the jungle with everyone else, Florida.
I seen a great meme on, I think it was Instagram or something. I think it was Instagram that had the best press conference of all time, and it had Lane Kiffin up at a podium, and then it had Auburn hat, an LSU hat, a Florida hat,
like
an Ole Miss hat, like he was going to select them like a recruiting video.
That would be like primetime viewing, man. People turned into that, right? That's hilarious. Oh, that'd be great.
That would be pretty. And Lane Kiffin's someone that would damn do it.
He would milk the hell out of that, wouldn't he? Oh,
for all of his faults and everyone that hates him, and rightfully so. And I'm one, right? How he did Tennessee was terrible, right? But when it comes to being a real person, whenever he is interviewed or in front of a microphone, That's one thing about Josh Heupel that a lot of people don't like. Everybody says, well, he's a player's coach. Players love him, and that's all true. They love him. There's behind the scenes stuff when he's in the locker room after games, where you're like, damn, that's a guy I could play for. But he never shows up when he's in front of the media. That is not the Josh Heupel you get in the media in front of a microphone.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin's the same guy.
Yeah, right.
In the locker room, he's the same guy in front of the media. He's the same guy that interviews with and talks crap to players after the ball game's over.
Great. I love
that. That's Lane Kiffin, baby. Just it's genuine too. That's what
it's genuine. He's who I am. Take it or leave it. Yep. I'm going to win you some football games too. By the way,
a lot of people want to take it.
Yeah, a lot of people want to take it. Want to give him a lot of money too, and he's going to just be like his accountant and his lawyer. His agent must be like, "This is amazing." They're like,
he's $9 million right now, and he's going to be north of that come next year, no matter where he is.
And he's certainly shown that you can do it at a place that doesn't have a strong history of high level success, sustained success at Ole Miss. So, I mean, he's bounced around a little bit. He found who he is, his niche, and there's no reason someone is not going to take a stab at, making him up a level in the coaching ranks, and whether that be, LSU or Florida or which seems more likely than Penn State, just culturally, to some degree.
And Florida State and Auburn's not even jumped in the pool yet.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah. We're not even November yet. Not even November yet, folks. By November 3rd, Monday, we'll have a list that's Chris is going to run out of ink on his pen.
I'm going to go to the Costco and buy a whole bag of these damn magic markers.
Yes, right.
To be able to have enough.
Right, and then it's like you scratch them out like the Billy Madison guy.
The kill list or whatever what it was.
Yeah. Oh man, so there's more to come. More names to be thrown in the pool, the pot, if you will. But that's a pretty big one. LSU head coach is a big one to put out.
That goes right to the top, right? As far as coaching opening, that's right to the top, right? Right now, it's to the top of the list.
I don't know who's. I mean, there's some that are close, but I feel like LSU is the best job right now. That's open. If we're looking at Florida, Penn State, certainly UCLA, it's way better than that.
There's a big drop off after those three, huh?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, those are nice programs, but there is a pretty big drop off. You're right. Right, and then you can, then you're jumping down further when you get to Virginia Tech and Colorado State, another level down. So there's going to be some people making some money. I wonder if we see some new coaches, recycled coaches, or what we're going to see more offensive coordinators, D coordinators as the head coach that have no head coach experience, or some NFL guys dropping down to be head coach from, coordinators. So there's just going to be, I mean, I've never looked at the number from year to year, how many coaches openings there are year to year, but this seems like a crazy number. Certainly that have been fired mid-season.
For sure. It has to be the most there's ever been mid-season. Right. Or just over mid-season, 2/3 of the way.
Right, yeah.
It has to be.
I've
been watching college football for a long time like you have. Yes. I don't remember anything like this, man.
Not like this, no. Couple here and there, but not good grief. There's a press conference or coaches or a team meeting at 8 p.m. on Sunday pretty often this summer or this season so far, and there'll be getting more of them probably, and throughout the country and all the big conferences. Some we may not even have on our radar right now. Some are just imminent.
Yeah. Yep. Another L, another bad L, and it opens up. I mean, Hugh Freeze just stated execution his way.
Yes, absolutely.
By coming back against Arkansas.
Yes,
we'll talk about that game, but
boy,
he might have been this week's.
Seriously, right?
Brian Kelly.
He'd probably been better if he's going to get it done. Just he's going to be under the radar. When you got LSU get fired their coach, Auburn's coach is here, but it's way down here when he's okay, I can just kind of sneak by this, just praying for anything, a tornado or anything else to get national headlines off of his.
Yeah, when's that hurricane make landfall?
Right. Yeah. Oh, but he's like, hey, you remember that Katrina? I'd like to have something like that because
Yeah,
I
another one
need
of those.
I need a distraction. Well, let's look at the review of the games from this last weekend. And as you guys know, we'll have preview in a couple days as well. So let me get back to the right window there.
Oof.
That's a well, we didn't really talk about that much, but just to kick this off for 30 seconds, I think that the Indiana said no, we're not going to be allowing UCLA to be ruining our party. We know who we are. We're going to put up 56 on you. You get to the field goals, and we're going to go. We're going to send you back to La La Land with reality check. Simply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't spend much time. The only thing I will say is, boy, did we miss this on our picks when we have picked against the spread and the over-unders and everything. We were both 1 and 2 because we picked Indiana to win.
Yeah.
And then, boy, we flat missed the other two, and we'll go over that at the end. But yeah, that was one. And it's starting to get now where Indiana is. You could trust Indiana.
I think so.
We made those picks based on it could be a little bit of a late down. Indiana's been playing high. UCLA's been playing really good lately. They could come in with a lot of confidence.
Sure.
Indiana wins, but never in doubt. But they don't score a lot of points. They just kind of take care of business and move on. Nope, not at all. They
right to the throat. 35 points at halftime.
Yep. We're done with this. So they could win it all, Delaney.
I've never thought they're as good a team as anyone in the country. I mean, they, as far as both sides of the ball, explosive, strong along the both lines, top-notch quarterback play. Like force turnovers. Like they do everything you want, and they're no worse than Ohio State. They've been challenged more than Ohio State, frankly. I mean, if you look at it, like Ohio State's best wins probably, certainly it's at Washington, which is a good win, but it's not going to Oregon where no one wins and winning there as Indiana. Like it's hard to. This is not the Bobby Knight basketball team. It's Indiana football, which has been nothing short of the laughingstock for all our entire life. Most of their whole, makeup of their whole school, the whole football program. And in 2 years, they turn into like the legit number 2 team in the country, and you can make an argument for number 1.
Yep. Yeah. If I was an AP voter, I'd have them 1. And the only reason I have them 1 is because I think they're, like you just said, their best win is better than Ohio State's best win.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference between the two. I think they're both very comparable. I can't right now, and I said I can't wait until the Big Ten championship and those two get on the same field together.
Oh boy, yes.
And then they might even see each other again in a few weeks or a month down the road in the playoffs.
Absolutely, right.
Like a semifinal or a national championship game. That's how good they are.
Well, and that's the one thing. They and Ohio State, they're very consistent. Like you said, you can count on them to be consistent on both sides of the ball every game, right? There may be a few drives here and there that they stall out, but by and large, they are consistent. You know what you're going to get from them, and they'll strangle you to death eventually. They're a little bit like that Michigan 23 team, where they can lean on the run. They got playmaker at quarterback. They got a suffocating defense, and they don't make mistakes. They don't beat themselves. They don't cause uncostly. They don't force or give up uncostly turnovers or dumb penalties, that kind of thing. And that's just a well-coached team. I don't care who's on that. They have some talent. They have some NFL talent there too, somehow, and they're coached up
on the D-line.
As good as anyone. Yes, exactly. Especially on the D-line, right? Absolutely. So it's an incredible run. And, Indiana said, we need to sustain that. So here's a bunch of money for forever.
Well, I tell you what, whoever the AD is there and whoever's making those decisions is a smart person, because the last thing you wanted to do is go in and getting a bidding war with these high major teams that are coming open for Cignetti, because he'd be getting phone calls.
Absolutely.
You nip that in the bud, like Barney Fife used to say, you nip it. Nip it in the bud. And that's what they did. It's like, you know what? We're not even going to get into that in the season. We're going to give you a boatload of cash and just stay here. And that's what he's going to do.
Yes. And that's what they should have done. That's what they did do. And like in years past, you'd see those coaches just like bolt, but like Indiana says, no, we're going to spend money in NIL. We're going to, do what you need to do to make this a football school. And I'll be damned if they're not doing a hell of a job at it. Right? Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Next game, kind of the top was going through as they come up on us. Well, we kind of spoke on this a minute ago, but yeah, A&M just pushed them LSU all over that football field. That 49-25 wasn't even the closest it looked. That was a garbage late touchdown that LSU had that didn't matter. This was an embarrassing loss, and we kind of alluded to that. Like, what if A&M just comes out and just beats the piss out of them? Well, it turns out that they will fire your coach on Sunday evening or Monday morning.
Well, if you're an LSU fan, you felt pretty good going to halftime. You're up, 18-14 at halftime?
Yes.
They feel pretty good. Defense is playing pretty well against Reed. And offense has moved it some. Wasn't great in the first half, but you scored your 14 points. And then second half, I've got a nice stat here for you if you want it now, or we can wait. But
go ahead, next. Hit me with it.
All right. So second half is the thing here. Second half drives. LSU had 6 drives.
Okay.
One of those drives, no, 6 drives. One of them was 12 plays, 75 yards and touchdown. Okay. So that come toward the end, right?
Yes, exactly. Right.
Yeah. The other 5 drives, the other 5 drives were 20 plays total for 24 yards.
I don't know for sure, but I bet that's more than that. That's less than they were hoping for on down by down basis. Drive by drive. And good grief!
They proceeded to get outscored 35-7 in the second half. So
right. Well, it comes back to a lot of things defensively, right? They just run out of gas. That's a pretty good defense, but like at some point the dam will break. Right, and your offense can't do anything. They can't run the ball. I mean, how many times do we have to say that? They can't run the ball. They tried with a freshman Barry, he had 60 yards and a touchdown, but they end up with 60 total rushing yards, but part of that's sacks from Nussmeier. But like they're unimpressive about anything they do. They don't have an identity. They don't do anything well. They don't excel at anything, certainly. And then you saw the defense just like cave in eventually, and then Marcel Reed and that receiving core and those running backs and athletes, they just put it to them that second half, 35-7. That's
once they get going, they are really special. Machine. Once they figure it out on offense and defense, defense played fine the whole night. But
yes, right.
You don't have to be great to shut down LSU, but they were.
No.
The Arkansas kind of got them a little bit, and you would think hope maybe LSU could take advantage the way Arkansas tried to take advantage. They just didn't have the players to do it, and then Elko's not going to allow that type of defensive game to happen 2 games in a row. He's just not going to do it.
No.
So
absolutely.
Once he figures you out, and once he figures out what you guys are doing on defense, they are really hard to stop.
Yeah, I know
you can't even rush him. Like, you can't even get after him because he runs aaround so well.
Right.
So you can't get after him. You got to be patient with it. Yeah, that's so.
And he wasn't spectacular. He's 12 of 21, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns with 2 interceptions too. So even with that, he was, he had some problems, but like they still put up 49.
49. He didn't play great. He ran for 108 yards of the 224 A&M had. He had 108. Like that's running around a lot.
That's a lot, right? Yeah, 13 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. So he had 4 total touchdowns, a couple interceptions, but like they just dominate. 224 yards rushing on 40 carries for A&M, 4 touchdowns. That was just a beating. And Mike Elko is right there for me, as one of the top 2 or 3 names in the country that are coach of the year, right? Signetti, him. You got to put Ryan Day in there as well. What they're doing to teams, but like this is different. This is legit A&M team, not like one that falls apart in October. This one's continuing to cruise and ramping up to a great run here in the late in the year. So this is very impressive. If you're an A&M fan, this is the most excited you've been in 25 years or so, probably.
You stay healthy, you're going to be very difficult out come playoff time. very difficult. And
100%.
and this is where, if you're an A&M fan, do you want to play for the SEC championship, or would you rather be 11-1 and be left out and let someone else go play in that game? Because that game means the only thing that game does is get you a bye.
Right.
Well, you don't. If getting a bye means you sacrifice Marcel Reed or Concepcion or Craver, well, then you don't take that trade. Yeah, winning an SEC championship's great. I mean that. Yeah, and you get the automatic bye, you get all that stuff. But that's just another 40 minutes of possibility, because you're going to be playing a damn good football team in Georgia when you go down there to play, whether it's Georgia or Alabama or whoever it is. They're going to be very good. So you always just run the risk of what happened to Beck last year in Georgia.
Absolutely. Right.
That's what happened to them.
100%.
So, if Georgia don't play that game, you have a healthy Carson Beck going to the playoff. That's a different Georgia team.
100%. 100%. Absolutely the case. And makes you wonder, a side topic, I guess, like, are the conference title games worth it and sustainable long term? I don't know how you can argue that they are worth it. We're already thinking about right now, like, who cares? Like, it didn't work very well for Oregon last year, undefeated.
Nope.
Go out to get out the Rose Bowl and just get your teeth kicked in. That didn't work very well.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next. Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens in the next 5 years when it comes to that playoff.
Right.
Because winning your conference, like Oregon last year, you're right. No conference champion got to the semifinals. Like, everyone was out. Oregon got kicked out from the Big Ten. Georgia got eliminated by Notre Dame first round.
Yep.
Who was Big 12 last year? Arizona State.
Arizona State. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So they get through, but they get eliminated Notre Dame in the was that the quarter?
I forget. That was a quarter. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that. So no conference champion made it to the semifinal of the national championship game. So that just goes to show you that give me the time to rest and game plan and get ready for the playoff, instead of taking a beating another Saturday by a good team and then having to recover from that and game plan and get ready for the playoff.
Right, and jump into it. And by the way, if you're going to make a run, you're going to play an extra game. You're going to win it.
Right.
It's going to get more complicated. So yeah, not worth it at all. Here's this is one of the two games that are the most disappointing and frustrating for me this weekend. I think you'd agree, for a number of reasons. One of which is our betting picks is Alabama goes to South Carolina and figures out how to win 29-22 over South Carolina. South Carolina had them on the ropes, man. I don't know if you want to tell about that conversation we were having via text during that game, but it didn't come to fruition, did it? No.
Nope. And what do we say? Trust the science. So
trust the science.
That's that statement. So, and the thing is, we could have cashed out. So we'd have won $90 and some change on that game had South Carolina not pissed down their leg.
Yes.
But they offered us $67 to cash out, and I was telling Delaney in text message, we're talking back and forth, like, do I take this? Do I take this money? Because South Carolina's not going to win this game, right? And you're like, nope, it's not likely. I mean, it's South Carolina. Good teams find ways to win when they don't play well.
Right.
Alabama just found a way to win, and then South Carolina did everything they could to help them out. The pick six, the fumble when they had the ball there in the closing minutes of the game. You just can't fumble that ball right there.
It's like, that's why you're South Carolina. That's who you are. That's who your program. By the way, who could probably use a new coach sooner than later too. They might be joining that list.
Shane Boomer's worn his welcome out too. I agree.
I think it's this. Yeah, that's not going well, and it's just they're not showing up, and they're not going to now, especially after that. I mean, we're watching this game, and I'm like, should we cash out? I'm like, I wouldn't blame you, but like, and then Carolina goes up 22-20 or 15. I'm like, let it ride, baby. That was the dumbest thing I've said all weekend.
And we say dumb shit all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly
that's saying something. But it's one of those deals where it's like you want to believe, and you've seen it happen. It's happened however many years. I mean, Vanderbilt beat them last year.
Right.
So you're thinking they could lose this game. Everything was against them. The momentum was against them. All the students had come down to the end zone. They were getting ready to run on the field.
That was so disappointing for those guys, right? Can you imagine?
They have to walk all the way back up those stairs.
Right.
As soon as
Just,
Norris fumbles, you walk out because
they're just
this is
frothing. They're like,
yeah.
oh man, okay, I'm gonna run over there. We're gonna get this. I can't wait. They're all high fiving each other, and then they turn around and like walk out with their head down.
They're down there in that crowd, and the one question they're asking themselves is how many cocks does it take to pull down that goalpost?
Right, exactly.
That's
right.
what they're asking themselves.
Yeah.
And the question is 0, or the answer is
zero,
0.
exactly 0, right?
Zero's
And
the
the AD pulls out his checkbook, like, okay,
oh yeah,
SEC marks. We're gonna. What's that cost again for the rush in the field? We'll happily pay that.
Yep. And then after all that happens, he just writes void over the top of it.
Boy, right?
And
yeah, walls it up. Just Kobe's it in the garbage can.
Yes. Yep.
Now he's got
disappointing.
Well, damn it! Now I got to write a check to buy this guy out, and write another check to get a new coach. I'm gonna recycle this. This again,
which is much more expensive, by the way.
Hell yeah, right? Yeah, it's better than whatever, a couple $100,000, whatever it was.
Yeah, I didn't have much written down on this game. I just wrote down just saying, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this damn game.
Just disappointment's what you're sure written down. This too so close. Typical. Yeah, Bama. I'm still trying to figure out how they lost to a really shitty Florida State team, but that's a whole nother thing. This was maybe one of the most surprising ones. We don't have to talk much about it because there's not a hell of a lot to say. But like, Oregon's only have 7-0 at halftime over Wisconsin in Alton, and I'm like, is that right? I must be seeing something. That must be the first quarter. I'm like, oh, that's halftime. And then 21-7. The hell, that's way, way, way under what anyone thought. Now, I don't know that's enough to save Happy Gilmore's job there in Madison, but they did show a little fight. That's the first points they've scored since like the sad field goal against Michigan October 4th. So they had about 40 drives where they didn't score at all, mostly lots of 3-and-outs and fumbles and interceptions. I guess on Wisconsin, fight on, but like you still got beat 21-7, and Oregon finds another running back, of course, Davison, who's a guy that Michigan and Notre Dame really wanted, by the way. Oregon's like, nah, we're going to come on in and steal this kid from you. We'll take him.
They'll not struck.
Here's the Nike money.
I think that has, obviously, that game has way more to do with Oregon than it does Wisconsin.
Sure it does.
I kind of don't trust Oregon.
Mm-mm.
Right? I kind of don't trust them. I thought that win in Penn State was like, oh, that's a hard-nosed football team that goes there and gets a good win, and then you figure out Penn State's not very good. Indiana bullied them on both sides of the ball. Line of scrimmage, Indiana just bulldozed them on both sides. So it's like, how good is Oregon?
I think they're a good team, but they're not as elite as we thought they were, right? I mean,
I think they have a high ceiling.
Yes, they absolutely do. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do. The one thing that's funny, I was just thinking about this today, like about a month ago, Penn State's up 24-17 in overtime over Oregon. And the stadium's about ready to erupt. They're ready to write checks for rushing the field.
Yep.
And, a month later, Penn State hasn't won a game. James Franklin's fired, and Oregon's looking at struggling to beat Wisconsin at home. What the hell happened in the last month?
College football, man. I'll tell you, that's why it's the best
That's
sport.
why we love it, right?
Yep, that's why it's the best sport.
Oh, man. What have you done for me lately? And good grief, what a difference a month makes. It's remarkable. Like Penn State, like you talk about just falling off a cliff and like no parachute, just Wile E. Coyote, you're like right to the ground.
Yeah.
That's like the most disappointing thing because, Penn State fans are all lathered up fine. This is the year. We got upperclassmen quarterback and running backs, and this is the best offensive lineman. We got an elite defense, and only to, struggle through some kind of middling Nevada and some other Villanova teams like, it's whatever, just getting it figured out, right? It's early in the season. There was some glaring problems right then and there, but you can kind of paper that over with uninspiring football. And then Oregon comes in and like, oh, we're not a very good football team. Oh, UCLA is going to beat the hell out of us the next week.
Yeah. Well, that's, when that game's over, people left the stadium and people like us were talking after that game. You didn't leave that game thinking neither one of those teams were any good. You didn't leave that game thinking either one of those teams were bad, I guess.
No,
We're
not at
not
all.
good football
Absolutely.
teams. You looked
No,
at that was a high
was a
level
heavyweight
football
fight.
game.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Just
right.
trading blows, and Oregon just happened to make the play when they needed to make the play.
Right.
And then now in hindsight, you wonder, is that two teams that are, okay? Are they pretty good? Oregon's probably going to make the playoff because I'm not sure on their schedule. We'll talk about it for the preview, but I don't know how much I trust Oregon. I just don't. I can see them making the playoff at 10-2, Delaney, and getting bounced really early.
I think that's if you had to put any odds on anything, I think that would be the odds. You got Ohio State and Indiana are on a path to the playoffs, a title game, a Big Ten title game in the playoffs, and you got Oregon, who's probably will cruise in. They're going to come in there with probably one loss. Then there's maybe another team. Who knows? If there's dude, this ain't likely to happen, but there's a possibility that Iowa sitting on looking at a 10-2, if they can pull things together, which come on. I mean, I can't. They got some games that got to beat USC and a couple other teams, but
they probably won't.
I just don't know. I can't imagine. But it's just too many hilarious thoughts there. But yeah, I think you're right.
I can tell you a nightmare for Oregon.
Can't run.
An 11-1 Oregon hosting in the first round, and they draw Texas Tech.
Oh boy,
right?
That's not a good win for them, or not a good matchup for them, man.
It's not. That's what I was saying, and that's what, if you're in Oregon, it's about the draw, right? You need a good draw. You need Tennessee if we make it. That's what you need. Someone like Tennessee, that's okay.
Yeah,
exactly right. You don't need Texas Tech. You don't need whoever else out there. If you get the loser of the Big Ten championship, say it's Indiana, and they got to travel up there again, or if it's Ohio State and Ohio State goes to Eugene, something like that. That's what they can't have happen. So, or BYU.
I was just going to say BYU is a team like that. Forget that, man. That's not a problem for traveling for them. There's nothing to worry about that. They're a good football program. They're well coached.
If they drew
quarterback with number 49 or something,
right?
47.
If they drew Ole Miss, that's okay, right? Someone struggling with defense, Ole Miss would be fine.
Right. That would be
there's just matchups out there. I think it'd be a hell of a game. Talk about track meet central.
Absolutely. The athletes everywhere. Yeah. So I'm with you. Oregon, I don't trust, but they have a path that's certainly doable. They play USC. That's probably their toughest game. That's in Eugene too. So we'll cover that in the preview. Georgia Tech just takes care of Syracuse. Still problem. This is the Georgia Tech. They've been kind of playing with their food a little bit and staying in games and struggling, have to come back. They just put it to Syracuse right away. So not a hell of a lot to say about there. But we got a lot to say about before the game, during the game, and after the game, especially with, as we alluded to earlier, with Lane Kiffin talking trash to one of the Oklahoma players. Ole Miss 34, Oklahoma 26 in Norman. And the natives are getting restless in Norman again. And I don't see how Oklahoma ends up with any less than 4 losses based on their schedule and what Mateer can do with basically 9 fingers.
He is just terrible throwing the football. Terrible.
He couldn't get the ball in the end zone. That was the most pathetic Hail Mary I've ever seen in my life. It looked like something I'd throw. It was not near the end zone, and it was not the wide receiver within 10 yards of him.
He threw the ball way too early. He'd been
that's part of it too. Yeah, right.
He had been pressured all game, and it was apparent on that last play because he knows you can't take a sack because you don't get a chance to the football.
Right.
But that last play, he had another couple 2-3 seconds before he had to throw it.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought he just threw it early.
He's kind of spazzed.
Yeah, and his guys wasn't even down there. There's 4 Ole Miss people around. Well, you got to have your guys down there too. You got to give them time to get down there. And he just was like, "Oh shit, I've not had this much time the whole game. I got to throw the ball, throw it."
There's gonna be someone on top of me.
Right, I'm getting ready to get blown up from the back because their tackles are true freshmen, both of them.
Yes,
and that gives me hope for Saturday, by the way, and we'll talk about that on preview.
As it should, absolutely should, yeah.
But he looked like he was rushed on that last throw, and
absolutely did. They're a different team than when they played Michigan. Second week of September. Because they, as evidenced by Now they did run the ball a little bit better this game, but that's an Ole Miss defense that's a little bit of an Ole defense as well at times. But they couldn't. 17 to 31, 223, one touchdown. Doesn't look that bad on paper there, but when you look at it, like some of the throws he missed and like is just not the same guy it was 6 weeks ago, whatever. And that's a problem, and that's going to lead to, like I say, I'm calling a loss this coming weekend. They have some other tough games coming up as well. OU does. So I don't know that they're on the verge of putting Venables back on the hot seat, but he keeps dropping these games at home like this and kind of looking worse and worse week to week. I got to start blowing less patience with him.
But Tear looks like a quarterback that was out of practice and didn't throw a football for 2 weeks solid with his hand, or how many days that was. Maybe 3 weeks, because he missed 2 games.
Yeah,
well, he was a game or 2 games.
And he missed 2 games, yeah.
Right, he missed 2 games, and then the whole week leading to Texas, it's like he didn't throw a football the whole time, and then he goes out there, and then you couple that with not having in your quarterback clock is sped up because you have 2 tackles that they can't protect,
right?
Especially left tackle. You're a right-handed guy. You got your back turned to that guy the whole game.
You don't trust confidence,
right? Of course. And so he just doesn't like a quarterback that's very comfortable and very trusting of his offensive line. They were 4 and 14 on third down, which tells you what you need to know. The 17 to 31, 223 is a fine stat line, but 4-14 tells the tale.
Right.
But yeah, they rushed for 136 yards. That's fine. But that's Ole Miss, so everyone runs for the ball.
Right.
And they'll run the ball fine Saturday too. I mean, that's just what's going to happen. But,
right, exactly.
Pass protection is going to be their problem. So
it's going to be, and then that led to that defense, it's a good defense, right? But
yes,
Ole Miss is going to put points on the board. I don't care how good your defense is. I don't care how good your defensive line is, like OU. Ole Miss had the ball for 35 minutes. That's a lot of time for that defense to be on the field. And was that 6? And they had 87 plays.
Yeah,
Ole Miss ran.
That's a hell of a lot of plays.
That's a lot of snaps, man. That's a lot of snaps, and a lot of those are you're running up down the field a lot. 46 passes. That's gonna get you winded. And Ole Miss is just, they're fun to watch. I mean, like them or not, like they're fun they're explosive, and that game against Georgia, they just kind of run into better coaching and some better athletes eventually is going to stop you.
Yeah. And a coaching staff that made adjustments on defense. They have better personnel on defense, and they actually adjusted to get some stops. Because once they got the stops, they got 3 in a row. So
it was over. Yeah, exactly. It was over then. Yeah, because they could not get a stop on their own defense. Ole Miss against Georgia. Mm-hmm. I don't think Georgia didn't punt at all. I don't think.
No,
that
they
whole
did
game.
not.
So yeah, good on Ole Miss. And then afterwards, Kiffin talking trash to the defensive lineman who was apparently yapping at him all game. Yep. And he just like, whatever, it's fine. And I guess there was some back and forth with Venables at the press conference yesterday, because I didn't see what Venables
he thought they were
the better team, right?
Yeah.
So he starts about like,
Kiffin's like, that's a hot take.
That's a hot take. Were they a better team back when we were Alabama and beat the piss out of them? I was like, that's
Kiffin.
That's Lane Kiffin. That's Lane Kiffin. That's the kind of guy you like to have around. I mean, we don't have a guy like Mike Leach anymore. This is the closest thing we got to a nut job and just says whatever. And Kiffin's a kind of a different breed because he's more just like smart ass, whereas Leach was just kind of a quirky, lovable guy. Yeah, you didn't love Kiffin or hate him, basically.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And no one hated Mike Leach.
No,
everyone loved
absolutely
him.
Not.
But yeah, Lane Kiffin, it's love or there's a clear cut line, and you're on one side of it or the other, and there ain't no kinda. You either love the guy or hate the guy. So, and as a Tennessee fan, I should hate him, but I kind of love him.
Right.
It's
kind of it's enough time has passed, right? That's been a long time at this point. And, obviously, it's 15, 16 years. God, this was 16 years ago already. Oh my God.
2009. Now, one thing about Lane Kiffin is 6-1. This is the 4th time in 5 years at Ole Miss, 6-1.
Okay.
Ole Miss was 6-1 4 times in the last 55 years before Kiffin.
Wow. That's pretty incredible. That's
So,
why are they not backing up the entire bank system there and
they will. I just don't know they can pay what everybody else
and
can pay.
yeah,
That's the
exactly.
problem.
Oxford doesn't have money, right? Exactly. That's probably going to be the thing. And we'll see how they end up, but like we've seen that this ceiling is pretty sturdy there at Ole Miss. Can they bust through? I just don't. Hell, who
They're
am
not
I to
good enough
say no?
defensively to
Look at
win it.
no, they're not. They're not. Like, and then long term, look at Indiana. Certainly, I mean that's obviously an outlier, maybe, but it's in this day and age, you certainly could, I guess. But it just seems like Ole Miss, especially in the company they keep, being surrounded by the LSU's and the Bamas and even maybe the Auburns and the Tennessees and Floridas and Georgias, and I can keep going on. And Texas, well, I'm forgetting Texas, and even Oklahoma's. I mean,
Yep.
we'll spend more money, but yeah, I just feel like Ole Miss fans just better cherish their last few games here because even if they make a little run in the playoffs, hell, that may certainly not keep him around. If he shows
Now,
further that he can make a little run,
let
geez.
me get your opinion. If you're the Ole Miss AD and you know you can't match that money that LSU and Florida is going to come calling, maybe Florida State, whoever,
Right.
and they get Lane Kiffin and you just can't match the money and he leaves. Do you go hire James Franklin if you're Ole Miss?
That would
I don't know how
not
much
be a
better.
terrible heart.
James Franklin. Now, this. Now, I just thought of this name, but if I was AD, James Franklin would get a call, but I'd go hard
Yes,
after Alex Golesh.
absolutely.
That's who I want to come in.
100%.
Somebody that's offensive minded. That's Kiffin's leaving, who's offensive mind. I'm going to bring in someone just like that.
Right. We need to kind of keep stoking the fire a little bit somehow.
Yep,
it's not going to be quite the same, but if you can get the closest thing to that, which might be Golesh, who doesn't have the, of course, no one has the personality of him, but might have the offensive chops, if you will, to kind of keep that fire, that flame going.
And it's a step up from UCF. It's USF. It's
absolutely
a step up, but it's not a giant step up.
No.
It's a higher, but it ain't. It's not like the highest.
It's the right step when you're kind of working your way up to the tip top, right? I mean, that's a I call it a stepping stone job, but to some degree it is, obviously, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. All right. You think Clark Lee's going to spend the rest of his career at Vanderbilt?
Nope. That's another one I would call too if I was Ole Miss. Because
100%
of all the high major, the big group, the Penn State, the LSU, the Florida, maybe the Auburn, and maybe the Florida States and all that. So you're in that group below it, but you're the best team in that group below it. You're better than Virginia Tech. You're better than UCLA. You're better than Arkansas. You're better than Oklahoma State. You're better than Oregon State. All that you're better than. So you should have your pick of the kind of the coaches that don't take the high major jobs. You should be right there with what, and that's going to be a Golesh or Clark Lee or someone like that, maybe.
Yep. There's there's many coaches as they're out already. There's a lot of coaches out there that they're going to make some nice money the next month or so, 2 months or so.
Like you said, their agents are loving it right now.
Yeah, they're already planning vacations. Oh, this dude hasn't slept for weeks. All he does because he's like swimming in corns like Scrooge McDuck. It's all he's doing.
Which house am I going to get in Martha's Vineyard?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I want to have a beach house in Florida too.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. By the way, honey, look at the new Lexus out front or whatever. Pick your car, honey. The Lexus was a Christmas to remember. Lexus to remember, whatever. There's going to be a couple big bows on the front yard of the Kiffin, his agent and lawyer and everyone else. So, Miami takes care of business. Not much to talk about there. They were down 7-0, and they rolled off 42 unanswered to bounce back after a tough loss to Virginia at home last Friday. Vanderbilt, that was a good game. That Vanderbilt-Missouri game was 10-10. 3-3 at halftime, 10-10, and then Vanderbilt's able to put together a score late and hold off Mizzou. Vanderbilt's a good football team. That's it. That's that's all I got to say. They're a good football team on both sides of the ball.
How you were talking
Never said
about
that in my
Indiana
life.
earlier. I know, right? Well, incoming.
Right.
How you were talking about Indiana earlier, being a Big Ten guy, and how you never thought you would say Indiana is like in the class of the Big Ten and a very good football team. Well, I don't think Vanderbilt's on that level, but it's Vanderbilt. The floor
They're
is
not
much
far
lower
off.
at Vandy than it ever was at Indiana.
Absolutely. Sure.
So, I mean, put it in perspective a little bit. Vanderbilt is 7-1, 7 wins. The first time since 2000, the first time since 1915. The first set, 7 games before November.
1915.
They've won 7 games.
Right.
They've won 7 games before the month of November for the first time since 1915.
No one on the planet was alive since that happened.
No, if they are, they don't look good.
How old? There's some like small little, old lady in a village in Thailand or something like that.
110 years old,
quite 112 years old, something like that.
If they beat Texas on Saturday, and we'll talk about it in the preview show, it'll be interesting to see what our picks are for that one. But if they beat Texas, they'll be the first 8-1 team since 1941. Indiana or Vanderbilt.
Unbelievable.
That's Vanderbilt football.
And so, they have extreme confidence in who they are on both sides of the ball. They're obviously well coached, as we alluded to, because that coach's days are numbered there. They're right there with anyone else as far as like their playoff hopes or their title hopes for the SEC as well. I guess technically Mizzou is going to need a little help now, but they're still a good football program too.
And Prabula's, who knows how hurt he is.
Exactly. Well, there's that too. If that may be the determining factor how much further they go. So I hadn't heard the latest there. So that might be something to keep an eye on because that will limit them. But yeah, Pavia continued to make plays, like clutch plays when you need it. Finds a hole, scrambles, gets 6. Like just kind of guy is just so frustrating to watch if you're on the other team.
Yeah.
Like, God dang it. Who is this guy? Was he a 9 4 star? Who is this guy? Why is he beating our ass?
And like we said a couple shows ago, he's one that if he plays for Vanderbilt and you're a Vanderbilt fan, you love him. Everyone else hates him because he's a handful.
Yes.
And
yes,
what's gonna keep Tennessee fans awake at night is going to be if they roll in here into the year, both teams are like 9-2, and the winner of that game is 10-2 and probably gets a playoff berth. Even though you're traveling, you're probably going to get a playoff because you're going to have enough wins to get in at that point. Yep. And that scenario, man, scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, you have nightmares of watching him scramble around everywhere.
Yes, and it's because the stakes. Because it seems like the higher the stakes, the better he kind of plays. And he's a baller. And if he comes in here with a chance to take Vanderbilt, who no one would ever thought was going to get a chance to go to a playoff, and you're going to come in and beat your in-state rival, your big brother, to do it,
dude. Put a statue up front with him.
Oh my God, dude! I hope that doesn't happen. But it looks like
you're on
the
path. You're on the path. Certainly. It's certainly possible. Perhaps
the Saturday will settle a lot of that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. That's true. Yes, absolutely. That will. Yeah, we'll know more. Certainly on Sunday or Saturday evening. How true that will be. BYU takes care of Iowa State, who Iowa State has become a bit of an afterthought at this point. We kind of know who they are. This is who they are, and BYU continues to cruise. And Big 12's a kind of a circusy kind of league, but BYU seems to be the cream of the crop right there with Tech and. Tech just puts it to Oklahoma State. It's maybe one of the worst teams in the country, Oklahoma State is, but nevertheless, two good football programs, but they're going to battle out for who's going to be playing in the playoffs. I have a feeling because there's too many other teams that are going to be sitting there at 10-2, and Texas Tech's on the lose one more and you're out kind of thing at this point, which,
Yeah.
they may or may not, but.
They may not, but they're both in the Big 12, right? BYU and Texas Tech. So you got to figure that's Big 12 championship game most likely.
Probably. Yeah.
And yeah, and what teams like Tennessee don't need is you don't need 2 Big 12 entries. So you got to if BYU makes their undefeated, you're huge BYU fans at that point. You're wanting Texas Tech to take another L, so they have 2 losses and they don't have a good win at that point. So besides, I guess Utah would probably be the best win at that point.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of jockeying here coming down the stretch as far as your 10-2s and who's 10-2s better. And it'd be interesting when the college football playoff rankings come out and see where they put all these teams that have these couple of losses, and because you'll have an idea of what they're thinking by those rankings. And top 12 is all you need. Just get the top 12 and you're good.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. All right. More to come there. Virginia somehow survives North Carolina. So North Carolina fumbles the ball in the end zone for the second week in a row. They just like losing games. This is not going very well there. We can jump to old Bills. Probably wish he would have just stayed retired. Your Vols. So I'll let you work on this one and work out all the specifics. Sure. I had said 42-20. I think that was my guess. Tennessee was going to win. I was not terribly. I was off 14 points each way. The over, I gather, hit. I assume it was not 90. I don't remember for sure, but I don't think it was 90 or 91.
No. I'll look
Tennessee
it up when we
56,
start
Kentucky 34. That's fine. Yeah. Tennessee 35-21 at halftime. I didn't get to see much of this because it was at the same time as the Michigan game. But I gather Tennessee looked like Tennessee. That's my broad look at things, but you can break it down better than I can, actually.
Well, I mean, they are what they are at this point, and it's kind of teams are what they are. They're elite on offense. There's not many offenses out there right now in college football because they're in the top 2 of pretty much every category in offensive statistics this year.
Sure.
So there's not many out there better. You can make arguments here, there, and everywhere. But when it comes to wide receiving core, besides Ohio State and Bama, I'm not taking these 3 over anybody else. Staley and Matthews and Brazel are elite. And that's what makes their and they dumb lucked in the Joey Aguilar with the whole trade thing.
Yeah. That was one of the best trades in the history of sports, maybe.
And if they wind up winning out and making the playoff, Delaney, Josh Heupel should write a big fat check to Joey Aguilar because the way this defense plays, this should be a 7-5 Tennessee team if they don't have Joey Aguilar on the field. They're a 7-5 team.
Right.
They lose Arkansas. They lose Mississippi State.
Right.
And of course, there's more. They would be more L's coming, right? So they would be a 5-loss team without Joey Aguilar at the helm. It's remarkable what that kid's doing on offense.
Yeah,
and he's not getting any love as far as for any awards.
Absolutely
not now.
No,
not granted.
He's
their wins over SEC teams is a 0 and whatever in league play or however it is at Arkansas. An 0 for in league play at Kentucky, an 0 for league play in Mississippi State. That's all
Mississippi
true.
State.
Yeah,
sure.
That's all true and fine and dandy, and I get that argument.
Right.
But your kicker, your liquored up kicker, is not why you don't have a heck of an elite win against Georgia.
Yes,
he didn't do Joey Aguilar. You watched that game. Joey Aguilar did everything he was supposed to do to win that game. And your kicker.
Yes, he did.
Now, you didn't have a good showing of Bama. That is what it is.
No, but those are outliers. This is not who he is, generally speaking.
You're a 40-yard field goal away from looking at him totally different when it comes to Heisman and being in New York. Totally different.
Right.
He is having the same year Hooker had, and he was going to New York until he blew his knee out.
Absolutely.
So, but again, and he's going to have to be that the rest of the year because the defense flat out sucks. They can't tackle.
Right.
Their safety play is terrible. They can't play in space. They can't play zone. They can't play man. They let a guy. He's a true freshman, Cutter Boley for Kentucky. Now, they did find something against Texas last week. If you remember, they had 300 some odd yards against Texas last week. And Texas is a good defensive unit.
Should have won that game. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And so it's like they found something. It's like he turned a corner because he was good Saturday. He was 26, 35, 335 touchdowns. Dude, that's a knot. If you had told me coming in the game that's the night he's going to have, I'm like, ooh, that's an L. That could be an L, or it's extremely high scoring. Right. Yeah. Right. But the defense does what they do. They get a defensive score. They have 5 defensive. Tennessee defense has 5 defensive touchdowns this year. It's tied for first in the nation.
Oh wow! Okay.
They forced 13 fumbles this year. That's first in the nation.
Okay.
So it's feast or famine.
That doesn't jive with giving up 34 points, and I don't know how you
being the worst defense
together.
in the league. I have no idea.
Right.
They either make a big play or that they don't get aligned right. I said they got injuries all over the place now. Colton Hood, who is by far the best corner we had left, has now got an ankle injury, so he's likely out for a few weeks. They say it's 50-50 for him to play against Oklahoma. So now you're playing walk-ons and true freshmen and moving pieces around the secondary that's already terrible. So it's just, I watched them 3rd and 3s and they're bailing out, going 10 yards backwards. I don't understand it.
Someone's got to explain that to me.
If you're Josh Heupel, you have to start thinking about what you're going to do on the defense. And we talked about it early in the year. And I've talked about it till I'm, orange in the face with people at work and customers and just friends and on the show. It's
in the mirror.
Wherever. In the shower, I'm getting in
the shower. So the guy over your right shoulder.
So anyone I can find, I'm making this argument. Josh Heupel don't fire people ever. He don't do it. Rehash it a little bit. Is he was shit canned at Oklahoma and it left a sour taste in his mouth. It really did, and he took it really bad, and so he don't fire people, which sometimes that's okay. You want to be loyal, and I get that, especially when it comes to the coaching fraternity. I understand it.
Absolutely, sometimes they're brotherhood.
You do it to a detriment, right? Philip Fulmer did it to a detriment. So
sure did.
And Josh Heupel could do the same thing here, where he could keep Banks and not make any changes. And Josh Heupel's his 5th year. 4 of those 5 years, the defensive units have been terrible, not good, not average, terrible. And they've had one good unit, and that was last year, and they were good.
Sure.
Now, if you're Josh Heupel, if Tim Banks, whoever you're going to have run this defense, you're not asking them for much. Just give me a top half of the league defense, and I'll take care of the rest. Just be average. Exactly. Be a top half of the league. Be a top third of the league. If you can get top third in defense, we're going to win a lot of football games because I'm going to put up points. And they've been bottom third, bottom half the whole time besides last year. So we'll see what happens in the offseason.
It's not for lack of talent, right?
No, they got dudes.
They have dudes all levels of the defense too.
They've missed on some safety,
like NFL guys.
They've missed on some secondary stuff. They sure the people transferred out. Secondary guys have transferred out. They've had injuries. Everything's kind of happened back there, and that's all true. But you're at Tennessee. You got plenty of money. There's no excuse to be this bad on defense. There's just no excuse for it. And so we'll see what he does. There's enormous pressure around here for him. They're asking him question after question in the press conferences after, because they give up 34 points to a Kentucky team that struggles to score points.
Yes.
And they had no trouble at all doing it.
Yeah.
So it puts a lot of pressure on your offense, and that's not a recipe for success. They say defense wins championships for a reason. When you get in the playoff and it's cold and you're going somewhere to play, if you're going to Bloomington, Indiana, to play a football game, you can't go in there thinking we're going to put up 40 points. It's not going to happen. No. And so you got to bring your defense with you, and they just don't have any. They got guys. They just don't. They're not coached well. They can't tackle all the things. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk about other free preview on Saturday, and then see where it goes from there. But they're elite on offense, falling down here. Their elite on offense.
Where'd you go?
Yeah. I hit this hand on the side of my chair and just bombed me out. The
So
chair's trying to take me out of this. Chair's like, quit rambling, you idiot. Everybody knows they
Tim
watch.
Banks has hit the button. Tim Banks hit the button.
Yeah. but that's it. There, I said, we'll see. With that defense, you can't trust them to go. The 10-2 gets you in. I don't know. I trust them to go 10-2 with the defense. They could lose Saturday. They could lose in Gainesville. They could lose to Vanderbilt. Then this team could be staring now. It could be staring at 8-4 really easy as 10-2. Very as easy.
Sure. Right. So. True. Right. Yeah, I suppose they're going to have to win a lot of track meets, I'm afraid, and this was kind of one of them here. Yeah, when your freshman gets 5 touchdowns, 360 yards total yards, and Tennessee took care of the ball too, right? I mean, like you're doing everything offensively. Like it makes you have to be perfect offensively, which is kind of dangerous to ask, honestly. Like
it's not a recipe for success long term.
A guy.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a recipe for success long term as far as winning anything of meaning. You're not going to win the league with this. It's fun to watch.
Right.
It's cool to see.
Sure.
You leave out of the stadium. If they lose, if they lose 56 to 58, you leave like, man, what a game. That was crazy. And everyone loves the game, but it's still an L. Right. It just as well been 58 to nothing. Right. It still counts.
Exactly.
So you're not going to win. Whoever wins the title this year will win it with a good defense. They're not going to win it the way this team wins ball games.
Absolutely not. Right. Yeah. No, I mean, look at the top 2 teams in the country are really, really good to elite defensively. And that's not, I mean, they're also really good offensively as well. They have some great skill guys, but the defense is what's carrying them to success and to be sustained game after game. Like we said earlier, they're good every game, right? Down to down, maybe they miss some here and there, but they always end up playing well and making the plays. Because that's what the difference is, like between a South Carolina who fumbles the ball away with an opportunity to win, and an Indiana who makes a play, scrambles from first down, gets a touchdown, goes on the road to beats a good we think is a good Oregon team. That's the difference between the 2 teams, where you got guys can make plays rather than guys who just hopefully don't screw up. That's not a recipe for success either. Hopefully we can fumble the ball here. Well, that's not how you want to play. You're playing.
It's got to be very frustrating going into a game if you're the offensive staff at Tennessee and you're like, can we get 3 stops for the game?
Yeah, right.
Can we just get 3 stops?
Right.
Can we get 3 stops and get a defensive touchdown? Because if we can do that, we can win.
Yes.
Well, that's
right.
Good Lord, man! Getting defensive touchdowns
that's
out of the ordinary anyway. And then for this defense, getting 3 or 4 stops in a game is asking a lot too. So,
right, yeah. I mean, that's an opportunistic defense, and there's probably some luck with how turnovers go. Forcing fumbles, interceptions, some of those. I'm just speaking broadly. Like you can't rely on your defense to score touchdowns or your special teams to get a kick return or punt return for a time. I mean, you got to, kick field goals when they're available, and the offense should capitalize when you force a turnover, but you can't expect your defense to get pick 6 and scooping scores and stuff like that. So, yeah,
well,
I mean, I don't. They are who they are, right? At this point, we've said that before. They just have to grind them out.
Talking about the defense scoring. And being lucky, and you nailed it. It is a lot of luck. The defensive score we had Saturday night was Farouk's safety, free safety, comes up, he throws the ball, Farouk hands up, bats it straight up in the air, and whenever Farouk hits the ground, he looks up, the ball lands right in his hands, and he runs for a pick 6. That never happens. That never happens.
That's just luck. You can't make that happen. Like it just how the ball bounces sometimes, right? Yeah, Michigan had one like that against Washington. Guy trying to defend a safety who doesn't play much, defend a deep shot to one of their Washington's wide receivers, Boston, and they get tangled up, and he ends up falling down on the ground. And the ball gets tipped, and he drops right in his lap. He's laying on the ground. It's the interception. Like that's not how you. That's just like the football gods are looking over you because hey, good on kid. Here you go. You don't get too many snaps in a year, so here's a fun memory for you to tell your grandkids. So All right. Well, I didn't watch the game, but I see Memphis decided to score 17 unanswered and beat
Yep.
South Florida. That's a tough
loss
one
for
for
South
South
Carolina.
Florida.
It sure is, considering that just ruined their playoff chances right there.
Sure
They're out
did.
of the playoff
Yep,
now.
absolutely. Yep. This is off a Memphis team who got beat, I believe, a week before that. They had them on the ropes and just couldn't finish them. But that's not terribly surprising. Those games like that kind of are. There's a few games like that, like oh, they have them. No, we don't. Nope. Well, we'll get to the one here. Well, we just jump right to that one. Texas 45, Mississippi State 38 in overtime. Texas decides to score 24 points in the fourth quarter. Punt returns. Everything you could do wrong, Mississippi State said, we can do that for you. Here you go.
Yeah.
We can do that for you. Yeah, go ahead and score. I couldn't have been more excited when I see that score. What was it? I can't remember. Was it 34-20 at one point?
38-21. It was 38-21 with 12:29 to go in the fourth quarter.
Yes, right. And I'm like out to eat with the family. I'm like, oh my God, I picked them to win. I got this. I took them straight up. They're gonna get us that home team win. They're gonna get everything we need. And what were we gonna win if we got that? If they actually pulled that off? Do you remember like how much it would have been?
It was, I want to say it was like close to $100. Like it was a good one.
I was just saying close to, right? Okay, yeah. So $7,500, something like that, right? And then I look. I mean, I'm not paying close attention because I thought, well, this is the Michigan game's going to come on. This game's should be wrapping up, and I look like, how's that game in overtime? What the hell happened here? So I go back and watch part of that game. I'm like, I think it's time for Mississippi State to move on.
It's all you needed.
I'm done with him. If I'm Mississippi State, I'm over. Yes.
That program's not ready to win that type of ball game yet. That's what this is. They've been bad for so long, and Jeff Lebby's a brand new head coach. This is year 2. They're just not
year 2. Yep.
They've not learned how to win that type of game yet. Where the way you were feeling when you were out eating with the family is the exact same way that whole coaching staff and every player on that sideline was feeling. We're getting ready to win. Oh my God.
A little too comfortable.
Right. I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to go here. You're in Starkville first, by the way, bro. There's not a whole lot to do.
Yeah, first of all,
we're going to go cow tipping or something.
Start Vegas.
Right. So they're all thinking about how they're going to celebrate, how they're going to bring those. How much we're going to pay for these end zone. Where's
uprights. My girlfriend at? Oh, she's up there.
We're going to. This is great. And I'm going to sign footballs. What am I? Levy's like, what am I going to say after this game's over when we got kids all around? And what am I going to tell the Aaron Andrews or whoever it is on the sideline reporter?
Yes, right.
All that, and the only thing they didn't do was forget to execute a little bit to win the game. They had everything else figured out.
The hard part.
Yeah. The part you should be focused on is they lost total focus.
He even knocked the quarterback out. He still got beat after. I mean, Arch wasn't exactly amazing.
You're up 7.
Still.
And you're kicking them the football. You're punting them the football. And you decide, well, let's just go ahead and kick the shit out of this ball. It's the best punt returner in the country. Let's just do that.
What could go wrong?
That's a great strategy. He'll never return it.
Right.
And then, of course, he does. And
he sure does.
And all you got to do, and looking back, all you do is you just got to pick up a first down here or there in the second half, and you're gold. And they just flat don't do it. And so
it was. I
know.
Chapin couldn't have played better. I mean, he had his completions, lightning completions, but like 4 touchdowns, took care of the ball. They can't really run the ball that well. I mean, Booth did pretty well, right? Devon Booth, but and Tennessee or Texas once again can't run the ball. Like that's who they are, right? But Arch puts together a pretty good game. I mean, he started out pretty rough, but then he put together 29-46, 346, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He did get dinged up, and Caldwell comes in, 1 touchdown, 1 pass, 10 yards, game winner.
Yeah.
You talk about a guy who's like, what do you say to the media afterwards? What am my girlfriend going to do afterward? We're going to eat out to celebrate. Well, he got to do that. The rest of the Mississippi State team went home and ate SpaghettiOs, and that's about it.
They didn't turn on their TV because that's only a highlights that were on is them blowing that football game. if I was a Mississippi State fan, that would have made me sick. And I'm like you, I'm sure the call-in show was lit AF after that game was over, because you're celebrating and then you just watch them totally implode. Totally 100% implode. Coaching staff, kids, everyone imploded because they were about to beat Texas.
Yes.
And
right.
That's exactly.
This was it. This was Jeff Lebby's. This is the start of his wonderful career at Starkville, and to maybe parlay it into a bigger job. He's thinking, well, you know what? I wonder if the Washington job opens, if Jedd Fisch takes somewhere. That's a nice place to live. Oh, shit, I got to finish this game.
I can go to UCLA.
Right. LA's a nice place to win. My wife would love to live in LA.
Live in LA.
She can go.
Sunny and 75 all the time. Sign me up. I'll go there.
Meanwhile, you go home, you leave the stadium, you get in your car, you're like, I'm still in fucking Starkville.
I'm going to be here forever.
Roses forever. Maybe. Unless I get fired, which is a good possibility at this point. They can't win.
I think at one time I seen him on Indeed or on Zillow on his phone there in LA looking at houses. Huh.
I didn't get food now in Blacksburg,
Virginia.
That's right. Yeah. Meanwhile, the custodians and the people that take care of the stadium are pissed because the dumpster are full of cowbells that were thrown away because people just had it with that shit. Oh, the cowbell sales are going to go down, I'm afraid,
man,
in the state of Mississippi.
They probably went down at a Tennessee game, and then
they did, right?
After a historic weekend of buying them after they beat ASU, right? I mean,
exactly. Yes,
there was no more cowbells sold in the state of Mississippi than after that game, and then now they're all
absolutely.
Yeah, they're giving them away at flea markets.
Those same ones are in the garbage,
right? Yeah.
If you could recycle those, they could build like buildings with all those cowbells that people are throwing away. Like that's a
lot of aluminum.
How much does a cowbell cost anyway? I have no idea. Like I've never purchased a cowbell. I don't really need one. $20? I don't know. Maybe they're more than that. But there's probably some really good ones. There's probably Dollar General ones that you can get too. I gather something that makes noise. But yeah, the sales are going to be down, and Mississippi State continues to be who they are. That's
why the Mississippi State.
That's why you're Mississippi State. That's my favorite thing. Like that's why you're South Carolina and you can't win games. That's why you're Mississippi State and you can't finish a game. You're gonna do something bumbling, and if you're a fan of that team, it's just like it's coming. I've seen this movie before many times. I know the ending. I don't know exactly where where it's gonna happen, where the big surprise is gonna be, but I know it's coming.
It's on the way.
And this happened to be at the end of the game, literally the last play of the game. Oh. Illinois goes out to Washington. Washington is the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the country, I think. They go to Michigan, they get beat 24-7, and then they play Illinois and they put up 42 points and didn't have to punt more than one time. I think the whole game. That's against a pretty good Illinois team. Illinois does not have the horses. That's why you're Illinois. Exactly. That's why you're 5-3 Illinois. Your ceiling is about last year. I mean, that was a great year for you. This is a good year. You got a nice team, but you're 5-3. You're 2-3 in the Big Ten, and maybe you get to 9 wins possibly, but
go to Florida for a ball game.
There was not. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. That's what you're looking for. Like you get the 15 extra practices, you get to travel, you get some nice swag from the whatever Citrus Bowl, whatever the hell it's called now, donations to you. But yeah, Washington just stuck it to them. And that game could have been worse, honestly, too, because Illinois got benefit of a pass interference. It was not a pass interference that Illinois ended up scoring on. So, I mean, it didn't matter. Illinois ended up scoring late, too. This game was just gone. They couldn't do anything. 21-8 second half scoring for Washington. They couldn't stop them. So that's why you're Illinois. You're not as bad as maybe as you were when you got beat 63-10 by Indiana, but getting beat 42-25 from Washington, that's about right. That seems about right. Washington is another team they're gonna have to earn it. They're gonna have to play at Oregon, but that's a team that could be sitting there at 10-2,
trying to make an argument
if they can win out.
You would have to
right?
beat Oregon,
I mean,
and that would be their best win. And you're going to have a signature
right.
win to get in at 10-2, because there's going to be a lot of them. Looks like.
And well, because you're going to have to be a big Ohio State fan too, because you can't see Michigan being 10-2 and beating Ohio State and expect to get in
Nope.
over beating Oregon, right? So there's that,
Yep.
and then you're like Iowa. Like Iowa's going to have to beat Oregon when they play in a couple of weeks. I actually might go to that game. It's in Iowa City. That would be a big win, and then is that bigger than Michigan beating Ohio State? Probably not. I mean, you could only get so many Big Ten teams in there. Indiana's in, Ohio State's in, Oregon's. Well, I don't know if they take these L's, then they wouldn't be in. But like a lot would have to happen, and but it's certainly possible for Washington. They just need to play better on the road, a little bit better. They're just so terrible when they have to travel at all.
Right. The SEC and the Big Ten are probably going to get at least 3, maybe 4. They'll never get 5 until they go to 16. That's kind of the math.
Right.
And then so if you're the Big Ten and you're SEC, you're rooting for either a lot of 9-3s, or of the 10-2s, they're all lower level 10-2s, and the favorites win the conference championship games. So you like the ACC may steal one, because you got Miami, Georgia Tech, and Virginia. Well, theoretically, Virginia and Georgia Tech could play for the ACC championship game. Miami's sitting on that home at 11-1. They're going. The winner of that Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech would go, and the loser may get in it, especially if Virginia wins it and Georgia Tech's at 10-2, or no 11-2.
11-1 or 11-2. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they lose to Virginia, they're 11-2. Virginia wins the championship. They're in. So now you got 3 ACC teams in. Well, the Big Ten or SEC is taking one less then. So there's so much weird stuff that'll be happening to it. It's going to be. We could do a whole show on it when it gets close to the end, as far as the jockeying around, because
need to.
yeah. Because look, we're an hour and 20 minutes into a recap of a weekend that was pretty good.
Oh my god, that was it was absolutely right. It was an hour and 20 minutes. All right, well, I'll stop yapping, I guess. Houston takes care of Arizona State on the road. I guess that's about the end of Arizona State's season as far as big dreams. Not terribly surprising. Houston's one loss is now just to Texas Tech, so they took it on the chin to Texas Tech, but that's still a pretty good team. It's just kind of hanging around.
Are they Big 12, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
right.
Between them and Texas Tech and BYU.
Someone's going to be in. I mean, someone's going to be left. I mean, Houston needs some help, with against Tech after the L, but like no one's talking about Houston, and we haven't talked much about Big 12 anyway, because they're just so flaky, and we kind of know. Penley's one of those. There's going to be one or two of those guys that's going to be in there probably. At this point, I ain't so sure who that's going to be. I mean, if I had to put $1 on, I'd say probably BYU is the best odds, but from what I've seen, but hell, that's such a flaky. They could get beat by Kansas State or something. You never know. Like that's. By the way, that's a bad football program right now, Kansas State.
just doing math here, right? And I'm just county educated, but the number's 12 in the playoff. If the ACC gets 3, the Big 12 gets 3 with Houston, BYU, and Texas Tech. ACC gets 3 with Georgia Tech, Virginia, and Miami. Just say that stuff plays out. That leaves 6, right?
Right.
12 minus 6 is 6.
Right.
Follow along. Notre Dame's getting 1 because they're probably not going to take another L, and you got to be whoever's playing Notre Dame. You better be a big fan of, because they need to lose another one to be out. But let's say they finish up 10-2, so they're taking another one. That's 5. So that's 5 spots left between the Big Ten and SEC. 5 spots only.
Right.
So
that's not many.
That's not many. Ohio State. Let's say Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Right, those 3 are in.
Right.
Let's just say, and let's say for the sake of this argument, let's say Ohio State beats Michigan at the end of the year. Those 3 are in. Well, that only leaves 3 for SEC. So now it's A&M's in. Right, they're probably going to be in. Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee.
We'll see.
So there could be 4 or 5 11-1, 10-2s in the SEC, and only
on the
3
outside
spots left.
looking in.
Absolutely, there's
which is going to push us to 2014 playoff for too long.
Yes, it will. Well, they're already going to 16 win. Is that next year after? When they doing that?
That's a good question. I feel like it's next year, but it could be the year after. It's
like
in the next year or two.
I think they've done that. Yeah, I thought they pulled the trigger on that one already. But yeah, it could be a log jam of teams from the SEC and Big Ten trying to get in if they let the third teams out of the ACC and Big 12 in, which those 10-2s are not the same as our 10-2s. Michigan goes 10-2, they should be in out of the Big Ten. Tennessee goes 10-2, we should make that playoff out of the SEC. But
yes,
we'll see.
Yeah, well, it's a lot to see, a lot to unfold, and a lot of these things take care of themselves, right? You know,
they generally do.
All these, like, oh, Washington could be 10-2. Well, they could be 8-4 too. You know, it could be 7-5 too. See what they have for road games coming up. And then not too much talk about Michigan. Didn't look very good, especially offensively. Again, different Jekyll and Hyde team on the road versus home. They win 31-20. Michigan State gets another score to cover the spread with 10 seconds left. Michigan was favored by 14.5. They were up 31-13.
People like me are like,
Michigan State gets a 31-20. Michigan State covers again. They covered last week with the sad field goal against Indiana to cover that spread late in that game. This was just a boring game, frankly. just a rock fight. And Michigan they're struggling to throw the ball. Thankfully, Justice Haynes is Superman. That helps when you have a running back who there is a rumor out there that he hurt his foot. So I hope that's just a rumor, but we'll see.
Marshall's damn good.
Jordan Marshall ran the ball pretty well. Yeah, Marshall's really good too. Yeah, he doesn't have quite that explosion and ability to press the hole and get outside like Haynes does. I just think Haynes is going to be. He has, I guess running backs are a dime a dozen in the NFL now, but I feel like he's going to have a good career at the next level. But he's just so explosive. Haynes is, but Marshall he's a little more like a Blake Corum. Like, he's going to get you the extra lean, an extra couple of yards. He's going to fight and grind. I swear he must squat 10,000 pounds. He's got huge legs. He never stops churning. He's fun to watch, and he's got some speed. He broke away, had a 56-yard touchdown to seal this game. They just can't move the ball offensively. Bryce Hunter looks like a freshman, and this guy's 18 years old. He's struggling to see things. He's not seeing corner blitzes coming off the edge. He's not even looking that way sometimes. And they're just not doing a lot to get him going. They got wide receivers dropping the ball. So it was a bit of a struggle. They ran the ball for 300 yards, or they're just under 300 yards. So they only threw the ball 2 times in the second half. So it tells you
that's
what their MO was. We got to get the hell out of this just to win. Let's just get the hell out of here.
I get that. But you're to go where Michigan may want to try to go, he has to be better. And the only way to get into it, and throwing the ball downfield, pushing the ball downfield, getting better. You got to do it and live with the mistakes for him to grow. And you can't throw for 86 yards, man, against Michigan State.
No, they're the one of the worst programs in the country defensively on secondary, especially. So that's not an outlier. That's just, you're not throwing the ball well. You don't have it schemed up well. Bryce is being a freshman. Whatever it is, they have 2 more road games at Northwestern and then at Maryland, which those are games they're certainly more talented than. They're a better program, but Northwestern's kind of feisty, man. They got a good defensive line. Makes me a little nervous. At Maryland, the only good thing about those 2 games is that the game Michigan plays against Northwestern is at Wrigley, and that'll be 50% of them will be Michigan fans, including myself.
Michigan fans fill that place up.
And then and then Maryland will. Maryland, there's a lot of Michigan fans, alums in the Maryland area. They've always showed up well in that area too. So, not that it matters, because
not exactly hostile environments.
East Lansing, no, but East Lansing's only 70 miles away. I bet there was 30-40% Michigan fans, especially in the second half.
So not hostile.
They still struggle. So No, not hostile at all. There was no. It wasn't like it's like Death Valley. It's crazy loud or anything like that. Michigan fans or Michigan State fans are by and large checked out. They're ready to move on from another coach that we're going to probably see that's
Right.
gets the axe sooner or later in his year or two, because this is one of the worst marriages as well. He's just too nice of a guy to coach at Michigan State. That's short and long of it. So I don't know. Like they have, they got to play Purdue at home this weekend. That's Purdue's a bad football team, so that's the one they should win. They'll be favored in the other two games, and then who knows? Like 9-2, they're hosting Ohio State. I should be optimistic after the last 4 years, but like I've seen them trying to move the ball. But then they go into Columbus last year with no one could throw a forward pass and somehow win 13-10. I don't know. Like, just we'll get to that. They need to worry about getting through the next 3 games healthy and look competent throwing the ball before you could get too excited about anything. Because that's
Underwood has to be better.
It's going to run out, right?
It has to be better. Yeah, he has to be better than this.
Yeah, this is not sustainable. Yeah, exactly. Especially if let's say you get through that and you're up with 10-2. It includes a win against Ohio State. You're gonna have to travel somewhere, wherever that is. You're gonna have to put together against a good team. You're not gonna play at Maryland in January or late December or whatever. Like
you could be playing going to in Athens, BYU Georgia. Or somewhere.
Right? In Athens, Georgia, right? Exactly. You think it's scary to go into Norman, Oklahoma? The hedges are not exactly a fun time either.
You could have to go to Kyle Field and play.
Yes, right. Yes.
Like,
you talking about
deal with Marcel Reed and stuff. Yeah. So
right.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to get away with throwing for 86 yards.
Exactly.
You're going to have to be better. Yeah.
No. Right. So
the thing is that the thing that sucks Michigan fans, the thing that sucks Michigan fans, and I'm sure you're in this band, is you got a good defense. You got a good defense. Like, you don't want to waste this defense, and it feels like in some ways you might be wasting a little bit because you're not doing, the offense isn't doing their part. If I had a genie that could rub the lamp right now and get him, Michigan is definitely one of the defenses. I would say, you know what, just give me that defense. I'm fine over here on offense. Yeah, just give me that defense. And I'll be good.
Yes,
I would take Florida's defense. I would take Michigan's defense.
Absolutely.
I would take Auburn's defense. I mean, there's a lot of defenses that are just on regular teams that are not just good on offense that I would take. And then that turns, someone like me, that turns to Tennessee. Well, same thing with Michigan. There's a lot of offenses you like, man, I would take that offense in a
absolutely. Hell yeah.
And feel really good about it.
So you kidding me? Absolutely. Yeah. Right. There's offenses in the old conference I'd take at this point now. Right.
Not like running back.
Arguably they have the best running back, probably uno and duo in the Big Ten, which may not end up being much. Meaning much, but they are young. They are the youngest team in the conference. So there's that. They got freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman running back. They got 3 offensive linemen, a redshirt freshman. Their best wide receiver is a true freshman. So they're young, but because you can see it. But then they make these little mistakes here and there. Like there's a tight end lines up a yard and a half off sides. What are you doing? Like just little things like that. It's like, God, it's just so hard to watch this, but growing pains. But they have a shot. That's, you want to be in the dance, you're invited. See if you show up and you wearing a dress or whatever you're wearing.
And if you're, and like you said, and you said this from the outset when we first started this show, very first of the year. This right now is about getting Underwood ready for year 3 when you can make your run.
Yep.
You understood it wasn't going to be this year because he's a freshman. So you get it. Doesn't make it less frustrating.
No.
But you understand that
you're so close, right?
Yes, right. This is the growth you go through to get to that year 3 where you feel good about trying to make a run for a title.
100%. Right. And you just have to get better when you're on the road. Like they had a terrible showing at OU. Okay. Well, you got a 17-year-old quarterback. That's a tough place to play. John Mateer's an elite quarterback when he's healthy. You go to USC, get your teeth kicked in because you're doing all kinds of weird things. Defensively, they can't really move the ball offensively that well. And, then they come back and they beat a good Washington team, hold them to 7. And then they end up, it's just so Jekyll and Hyde. It's so young talent is what you got. A young coach who's still making in-game mistakes. They don't have anything special teams wise. It's just putrid. If they catch the ball in a punt, that's a win. I'm not talking about getting a yard or anything like.
Right.
It's just to catch the ball. They're not fumbling the ball. They actually field the catch. There's lots of times that they'll let the ball roll, just let it roll for 20 yards. And like, there's so many lost yards by not catching the ball when you're on punt return that they've seen the last couple of years, and they just don't do anything well. They don't block punts. They don't block kicks. They don't do anything well. Their kicker, who was pretty automatic last year, has struggled a little bit this year. So that's a real problem. And you can't have a lame special teams if you're going to make any sort of run either, right? That's just what it is. So, all right. Well, we covered all the big games and the ones we missed that you want to talk about.
I don't think so. I think it's time to get on with the picks. The really
yes
down part of this show now. Really somber.
Yes, right.
If you could, the music they play in funeral homes. If there's any way you could plumb that in right now, that'd probably be the one you would want to plumb in right now.
Let me see if I can find something here. Okay, let me see if I can find any.
And then have people comment. Sorry about your loss. Sorry for your loss. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, sorry for loss. Sorry for loss. Sorry for loss. Sorry for loss.
Right. Call us if you need anything.
Right.
Let's see here. I'm trying to look for the. Yeah, we both had the over in the UK Tennessee game. I'm looking for the Michigan game. Where's that at? Here it is. Yeah, I took the over, which hit, but you took the under, which whenever Michigan State scored that last touchdown, that flipped those two. That puts you in the cover, but puts you in the over. So, All right. So last week it was like 70 something picks total because we pick the straight up money line, we pick against the spread, and we pick the over under. Okay. So I dumbed that way down this week because we spent an awful lot of time on it, and that was an awful lot of picks. This week, between both of us, was 26 picks total. So not too bad.
That's a little better.
26 is fine. So congratulations, Delaney. You went 14-12 this week.
Okay.
That's in the plus. I would have got you the same amount of money you came in with. I went 13-13. So you didn't win Jack, you didn't lose Jack.
You're even Steven.
That's
even
right.
Steven.
So nothing really jumps out at us. Obviously the UCLA game, we both picked a lot of Indiana to win it, but UCLA do the other two. They did not. We both picked Vandy to win, which is good. We both picked Arkansas.
Yep.
Not so much. We did pick Ole Miss.
Not so much.
So nailed on that. So you picked the Mississippi State. I picked Texas. So just kind of some highlights on it. We both were all over A&M on all that. So by the way, we both were 3-0 on that.
Oh yeah, that was way
So 14-12 for you this week. 13-13 for me. So that's pretty fun. We'll tee that up again. We'll do that again. I guess tomorrow whenever we do the next one. All right.
And that's why the people in the desert never go broke.
That's exactly right. Now, one thing I will say about those money picks this week. Let's just go ahead and get this up here. A big sad face up in the corner. All right. So, for those of you that don't know, over the last 5 years per ChatGPT, SEC home teams win 70% of their games. Only winning percentage. Not against the spread, not the over-unders, nothing like that. Just who's going to win the game. And I also included Oklahoma and Texas in this, even though they're 2 years in. This is year 2 of the SEC for those guys. Year to date, we are 32. Coming into this past weekend, we were 32-13, winning at a 71.1% winning percentage. Money-wise, we came into the year at $147. Coming into the weekend, we were down to $120.19. We were down $26.81.
Tough last weekend.
Yes. Yep. This past. Yep. So we started with $120.19, $17 a game we bet on last week. This past weekend, we go 1-6. And the statement that I said at the first of the show that I never thought I would utter is, thank God for Vandy football.
Right. No one's ever said that, even if you're a Vanderbilt fan.
No, thank God for Vandy football, folks, because you would be sitting here with a bankrupt Hell If We Know podcast bank account.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
1-6. That is a rocking 14.3% winning percentage. By the way, we lose Ole Miss, OU, and OU had a chance. We lost Bama, South Carolina.
Yes, they did.
That damn close for that.
We had it.
Arkansas, Auburn.
Had it.
We didn't talk about that game. The only thing worth mentioning is the last 4 possessions for Arkansas were 4 turnovers. Auburn comes back and wins.
That's perfect.
We lose LSU, A&M. Yeah, we predicted that one. Kentucky Vols, we picked that. That was, yep. And then you predicted Mississippi State. Yep. And I had Texas, but Mississippi State obviously is a home team. They lose. Vanderbilt over Missouri is our last one. So, all right. So we came into the weekend with $120.19. We now have $29.23 in the bank. Minus $117.77.
Oh.
So
this is going great.
That is where we are. Our record now is 33-19, down to 63.5% winning percentage.
Awesome.
And we'll see what happens. I've already made the bets. $5.50 on each game. $5.50 per game. That's right.
Someone
big money, no
whammies.
Yeah. So that's where we are now. I don't know if the local sports show here in Knoxville was onto this as well, but it's really funny because they put up a graphic this past Sunday when I just happened to be watching. I don't usually watch these guys on the weekend, but Sunday, everybody, no one's around. Shelby's in her bedroom. Josh is at work. What am I going to do? So I turn on this local sports show, and I turn it on, and not 2 minutes after I have it on, the host says, you need to look at SEC games differently than you used to. I'm like, this ought to be good.
Right, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is uncanny. There's over the last 4 years, this is a 21 through 24 season. Didn't include the 20 season. I think there's a COVID season right around in there, so they shortened the season up.
Sure did. That's
right. Okay. So the last 4 years. Over the last 4 years, from 21 to 24, there were 232 games in the Southeastern Conference. Okay. Margin of victory was 15.4 points. Of one-score games, there were 84 one-score games. So that's 36% of the 232 games were one-score games. Okay, over the last 4 years prior to this year. In 2025, there's been 37 SEC games. Margin of victory. Margin of victory. 10 points.
Oh.
21 one-score games. 57% of the games this year have been one-score games in the SEC.
Holy cow. Jeez.
So what's that tell you?
That's why we can't make any money. We can't make any money.
That tells us that we were about 4 damn years too late doing this betting, is one thing.
Yes, sir, exactly. Yep.
We'll see what happens this weekend. I've already projected into the future the next couple of weeks, and it looks really good for SEC home teams. Right? It gets much. There were, like we talked about first, there was 2 landmines last weekend, which we dodged somehow. This weekend, which we did not dodge at all.
Yeah.
We was hoping for a 5-3 and we sure did. So, but yeah, found that pretty interesting. He brought that graphic up. Was like, hey, this ain't the same SEC it has been in the past 4 or 5 years, guys. This is a totally different league now.
Yeah.
And the numbers bear it out. I mean,
thanks for letting us know.
Right? Thanks, bro. After we've lost $117.77. But yeah, down 5 points. Almost a third of the one-score games already. And then 57% up from 36% as far as one-score games, the amount of one-score games. So that just tells you how difficult the league is and how close the league is. And if you watch SEC games this weekend, firsthand.
Balancing, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
a lot of good teams, and anybody can beat anybody, for sure. And
yes,
it's not a coincidence that coincides with the introduction of NIL. NIL comes in, you start to see those numbers drop.
Transfer portal, NIL, that changed the landscape of college sports, and then what we're talking about, in particular college football. You can really see that come to fruition, and very quickly. Look at Indiana, for example. That's a product of just that. Like the good coaching, of course, too. Not take away from the coaching, but also they brought in a good coach, and he brought the right players in, and they're funneling money into the school, and you go from laughing stock to number 2 in the country with a shot to be number 1 and make a run in the playoff. I mean, you're as good as anyone in the country on both sides of the ball right now. We said it at the beginning of the season, or begin this episode, and I'm saying it again. And short of any disasters, it looks like we're on a collision course to see Indiana in the playoff.
I'm so here for that game. I'm here for Indiana. Whatever, man. I'm here for that damn ball
absolutely
game,
that too. Right? Yes, right. Yes, so absolutely.
I think 100%. That's going to be a slobber knocker, as they used to call it.
I suspect it might be one of those, like, both defenses are really good, offenses are good too, but like, yeah, I mean, right now I have more faith in Indiana's offense to be able to move the ball with a senior quarterback than I do with Ohio State's Julian Sayin being a freshman. I mean, they have obviously elite skill guys you can throw the ball to.
Right.
It's just that Ohio State doesn't run the ball all that well still. Indiana can run the ball, and they have
a little
more experience at quarterback. And that might be the difference, right? Exactly. So that's, if I had to pick right now, I might lean towards Indiana, but that's a long ways from now, I guess, at this point.
Right.
But all right, well, we spent 1 hour and 46 minutes. We got everything out, I think, probably.
We're supposed to be close to the hour, not farther away.
We lost. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you meant an hour. I thought you meant 2 hours. I'm sorry. I misunderstood that.
It's okay. We'll try again tomorrow whenever we're going to do the preview show.
Yes, definitely. Yes. All right. Well, folks, that's it for episode, I guess it'll be 10.1. This is review of Week 9 college football. We'll walk through all our picks, all the games, lots of games that are heartbreakers for us, all you gamblers out there as well. There's always next weekend, and you're never going to stop.
Nope.
Whatever the 1-800-GAMBLING, whatever it is, you should probably call that, because we don't want to contribute to that. This is just for fun. This is just we're down $100, just whatever. It could be groceries, whatever. We're down $100, whatever it is. Mr.
They don't make hearse and trailer hitches.
I gambled on
you can't take it with you.
Absolutely. Hey, look. Well, if Mississippi State come through, if Kentucky come through last weekend, maybe we'd be sitting a little better. Maybe we could feed our families. But
that's right.
No, Mississippi State's going to Mississippi State.
That's
right. That's what you are.
South Carolina. Yeah.
That's right.
Turns out it
is
really easy to beat those cocks.
Yes, it is. That's it. That's what we're ending on. Folks, this is the Costanza. I'm out. We'll see you tomorrow.